Are you constantly narrating your own life like it's a Dateline episode? Do you whisper, "The husband did it," at weddings? You may be one of the millions silently suffering from a condition known as true crime brain syndrome, or TCBS. But now there's hope. Cluvelta, the first semi-legal, questionably tested treatment for TCBS. Cluvelta helps restore balance to your life by gently replacing your obsession with murder with an obsession with real estate shows. Cluvelta users report fewer murder boards, shorter Reddit rabbit holes, and an increased ability to trust their spouses again. Maybe. Side effects of Cluvelta may include watching cooking shows and actually following the recipes, trusting your neighbors not to be serial killers, starting a knitting club, and accidentally solving local crimes anyway, hallucinations of Keith Morrison narrating your dreams, and in rare cases, mild interest in HGTV. If you experience sudden urges to say, "Let's circle back," or "This doesn't add up," discontinue use immediately and call your podcast co-host immediately. Cluvelta, because even you deserve to sleep without checking your Ring camera 12 times a night. Hello, welcome back to the program, coming to you live from a second floor office in an historic home in the oil heritage region of Western Pennsylvania. It's me. I'm trying to get that all kind of hyped up. No, that didn't work. I don't know. Hey, welcome everybody. So glad that you are here tonight. Glad to be joining with you one more time. Hey, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be having Elizabeth Jones. Elizabeth Jones. Let me see if I can bring up Elizabeth's photo here. Elizabeth Jones from Hillbilly Crime is going to be joining us to talk about the so much that is going on in Letcher County in regards to the murder of Judge Kevin Mullins at the hands of Sheriff Mickey Steins. So definitely come back tomorrow. That I love it when Elizabeth is on because we tend to just kind of jibber jabber about the case, and there's so much about the case that that has been going on, and so we're going to do that. Couple more things before we get it on tonight. I want you, if you're new around here, because there are a lot of you that are, I want you to know that there is a website, gavinfish.com. Yeah, I'm not all that terribly great at naming things, and I'm not all that, I guess, I don't know, creative when it comes to like naming a channel. I just use my name, but it's easy to remember. gavinfish.com. You can check that out. There's lots of crime cod articles, my blog posts, and case pages that you might really like if you are a true crime aficionado. Big case files, stuff like that. And while you're there, please go ahead and click on this little icon, which takes you where? Right on over here to the fish tank, which is where we hang out on YouTube. So I want you guys to know about that. If you're new here, there's tons of fun within the world of true crime and me that you are welcome to join. You've always got an invitation. Now, tonight, who are we talking about? We are talking about, oh my goodness, this little creature here, this adorable little boy has been missing since sometime in August, sometime between the 5th and I think the 14th of August. Little Emmanuel Haro. His parents, Jake Haro and Rebecca Haro, have been, they've been charged with this little boy's murder. And we've got some new things that have been happening, but we've been distracted by so many other things that are happening in true crime that I want to circle on back and talk about a few things. Now, I kept some notes. Which I will bring up for me now. Okay, a couple things. Emmanuel Haro, 7 months old. He was reported missing on like the 14th, but police believe that it could have been as early as the 5th. He is presumed dead. His body has not been recovered, but prosecutors say that they believe they know where it is. So what we're going to focus on tonight is, well, we're going to we're going to kind of skip around. But where we're going to start tonight is a hearing that just took place a couple of days ago, September 16th. Now, what was supposed to happen in this case is on the 16th, they were going to have a plea hearing. It's not really called a plea hearing. It's a settlement conference is what it's called. And then they were going to be get to have their preliminary hearings the following day, which would have been yesterday. But if you come on over with me over here, we're just gonna start. Oh, dude, black screen of death. It keeps doing that. Give me a second. I should just do this before I start, just to make sure that it's working correctly. I should do it. There we go. All right. So come on over with me to Acrobat. This is from NBC Palm Springs. This is from a couple of days ago, just to catch us up, okay? And then we're going to get into a couple of new things that have come out. Okay, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but almost 2 weeks after Jake and Rebecca Haro pled not guilty. That was it's not Freudian, but that was a slip of the tongue. That is something that I wanted to happen. Pled not guilty for the murder charge of their 7-month-old boy, Emmanuel Haro. Today, they are back in court. This was the 16th. For the felony settlement conference, this will be a hearing between arraignment and a preliminary hearing. The point of the hearing is to provide both sides a clear understanding of the opposing party's case and potential outcomes. Today, Jake Haro's attorney filed to push back the felony settlement conference, and even though Rebecca Haro's attorney objected, the judge granted the request. The new date for the felony settlement conference will be October the 16th, and the start of the preliminary hearings will begin on October 28th. October 28th is a very special day. Very special day for me. You guys know that I'm about to turn 50 in 2 weeks. October 3rd is my birthday, but that birthday doesn't really matter much to me. October 28th, though, that is the birthday of my Snuggly Bear, and that is a big day. I will still watch the preliminary hearings, and I'm guessing that we're going to get one on the 28th, one on the 29th. So a preliminary hearing, which it explains right here, is where a judge determines if there's enough evidence or probable cause to believe a crime was committed. And that's all I'm going to read from this one, I believe. I do want to point out, though. Let me get up. Do you see the 4 people in the front here? Do you recognize the man in the yellow shirt with the terrible haircut, and all the way to the left, the frowny-faced woman sitting next to her counsel there? Those are the Turpins. You guys remember them? The Turpins. Oh my. Okay, first off, listen. Okay, Uncle Gavin's coming out, guys. Listen. Uncle Gavin here. If you ever see a haircut like the one that is on that man right there, that person needs to be turned in for a crime. Okay. First off, it's a huge fashion emergency, but he likely is abusing people, probably kiddos. Okay. Oh my goodness. But anyway, the Turpins were represented by the folks that you see in this picture. Let's see. Allison Lowe is sitting next to Louise Turpin there. And then let's see. Jeff Moore is seated next to David Turpin there. Jeff Moore is the court-appointed attorney for Rebecca Haro. And Allison Lowe is one of 2 members of the public defender's office who will be defending Jake Haro. What does this mean? Well, I don't know. I think it just means that they are, very good, experienced attorneys on these kinds of cases. So I thought that was just a little nugget of information. Let's hide him. Bring her up. Bring Emmanuel up here real quick. Okay, so now we know. I don't. I just hadn't occurred to me. I knew their names, but it took me a while to figure that one out. All right. So that's the latest development, the outcome. Yeah, October 16th for the next settlement conference, and October 28th for the preliminary hearings to begin. All right, next thing I want to get into here is some stuff that's come out. Now, some of you guys are going to be like, Gavin, this isn't new. I know, but I haven't covered it on the channel. I'm hardly ever first. I'm just trying to get us all up to date on this, okay? And I'm going to check your comments here in a second. But the next thing that I want to bring you is this video right here. Do you guys remember this press conference? I think this was back on the 28th, I want to say. Let me see. The 27th. And I just grabbed this quick clip out of it. Let's have a little listen-y poo.
In 2018, Jake Haro with his ex-wife, there's another child who they were prosecuted for child abuse as well, child neglect, cruelty. That child was also an infant, and that came to the courts, arrested in 2018. It came in to the courts in 2023.
I'm just going to pause it here for a second. We have looked at the documents on this. The charges against Jake Haro were horrific. The probable cause statement that enumerated out the injuries sustained by his little daughter, who was like, trying to remember, 10 days old, something like that, were just horrifying.
We had charged various felony crimes, child abuse, child cruelty, and our indication or what we wanted out of the case was prison. We believed it was a prison case and that Jake Haro should have gone to prison. Jake Haro pled straight up to the court, which sometimes reporters get this wrong and you call it a plea bargain. Judges are not allowed to plea bargain. Defendants can plea bargain with the prosecutor, but when a defendant pleads up to the court, they plead to everything that they've been charged with, and they're essentially throwing themselves on the mercy of the court. In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation and suspend prison time sort of over his head, meaning that if he violated his probation, he would then go to prison. My prosecutor in the courtroom objected to that and said on the record, we object, we think it's a prison case, you should send him to prison. And the judge decided, as is the judge's right to do in that case, he decided that Mr. Haro deserved an extra break and gave him probation and basically 180 days of work release, which ends up being...
It was a 10-week-old, I think I said 10-day, 10-week-old little girl.
...in like community service. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And that's a shame, and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down. It's not how it's supposed to work. The judge had obviously meant well. At the end of their sentence, he told Jake, I'm giving you a big break today, don't mess it up.
Okay, so that's the end of the clip that I wanted to show you. Now, what happened after that, that was again August 27th, where DA Mike Hestron said that. There was in Long Beach Post, Bring this over here. This was back on the 28th. That judge, here's a picture of that judge right here. That's Judge Dwight W. Moore. By the way, guys, this goes without saying, right? This goes without saying, but we don't go after people. We don't dox people. We don't threaten people. We don't do any of that stuff. Okay? Don't do any of that stuff. But this is Judge Moore from a picture of him from 2017. He said, "I'm absolutely precluded from commenting publicly about the case," um, said Judge Moore, who acknowledged that the controversy caught him by surprise. "In 18 years, this is the first time I've been taken to task in this manner about a decision I've made." I personally, I'm with Mr. Hestron on this. I feel like he probably should be taken to task on this. I don't know that little Emmanuel would have been conceived. It's really hard to figure out the timelines and so forth, but he certainly, if Mr. Haro was in prison right now, I do not believe that this would have happened to little baby Emmanuel. All right, now after Mr. Hestron said that and Judge Moore responded, there was, let's see, it's bringing over here a letter. This was dated September 4th from the American Board of Trial Advocates that took issue with DA Hestron. Let me just come on over here. Yeah, 10 weeks old. Mooney says, "We don't like you because you're the first to the last. We like you for your coverage and stay for your commentary. Thank you very much." Shay adores me. Shay, well, that is most kind. Thank you very much. And Fire Rabbit and Irada Lily say 10 weeks old. Yes, I definitely got that wrong, and thank you for the correction. Fire Rabbit says Jake was on a suspended sentence. He violated probation repeatedly. Should have been sent to prison. If that happened, Emmanuel would have been born and still be alive. Oh, you're right. With the probation violation. You're right. Yeah. Thank you for that timeline. Appreciate that. Tony, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining. Glad that you are here. Okay, let's head on back to the document that we have in front of us. So, the American Board of Trial Advocates, San Bernardino Riverside chapter, released this this statement or this letter February 4th, titled "Facts Matter, Get the Complete and Accurate Picture for Immediate Release. The Tragic Death of Baby Emmanuel Haro and the Events Leading Up to His Disappearance." On behalf of the San Bernardino Riverside chapter of the American Board of Trial Advocates, ABOTA, we wish to extend our deepest condolences to the family of baby Emmanuel Haro. Unfortunately, recent misinformation regarding a San Bernardino judge has cast him into a false light in the public eye, and he has been the focus of extreme anger and hateful comments, all because recent press releases have accused him of outrageous error in judgment and that baby Haro would still be with us had this judge just done his job. This can be no further from the truth, which we will explain later in more detail. Sitting judges are prohibited from making comments about pending cases and are severely limited in responding to criticism about the handling of specific cases involving criminal law. It is therefore important for attorneys and others involved in our judicial system to provide insight whenever possible regarding certain rulings in cases. San Bernardino Riverside chapter of ABOTA is not a political organization. It does not comment on lawyers representing either plaintiff or defense interests, but rather we are dedicated to the preservation of an independent judiciary and the right to a trial, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, we clearly, yeah, we support the First Amendment, but we don't like efforts to portray judges in false light, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, there have been serious and damaging misstatements by certain public officials. I, I, I would imagine that would be Mike Hestron, right? that have been made to the press about the judge's alleged mishandling of a previous criminal case involving defendant father Jake Haro, the person accused of killing baby Emmanuel Haro. In particular, questions have been raised in the handling of a previous case, also involving a minor child, Carolina, 10 weeks old, with an accusation that the judge committed outrageous error in judgment and that had the judge done his job, baby Emmanuel would still be alive. These false accusations by public officials appear to be an attempt to deflect the real reason for the breakdown in the justice system. In order to set the record straight, below are some important facts and statements that ABOTA feels must be addressed as to the handling of the previous criminal case involving baby Emmanuel's sister, Carolina. The crime involving baby Carolina occurred in October 2018. Yeah, and we know all about this, right? The healing fractures, the acute fractures, the brain hemorrhage, cervical spine injury, retinal hemorrhage. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. As mentioned above, the Riverside District Attorney waited for 2 years and 4 months before filing the complaint. The complaint was filed only 1 week before the statute of limitations of 3 years. Also, notwithstanding knowledge of the above injuries, the complaint did not allege great bodily injury. This allegation in the complaint would have precluded any judge from accepting defendant's plea to the court, as was done in this case. They're arguing that the DA's has left some details out, right? The complaint was never amended to include great bodily injury, despite the DA having more than 2 years to review all the medical records. In addition, the DA did not fully advise the court of the seriousness of the injuries. January 12th of 22, Haro was arraigned where he pled not guilty. The DA did not oppose a continuance. Defendant was out of custody on bond. And then it just goes through blah 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 blah. Approximately 1 year later, yeah. So the DA did not oppose continuances of the violation of probation hearing on August 9th, 2024, October 7, December 1, April 25th, 2025, and July 2nd, 2025. It was not until August 26th, 2025 that bail was revoked. This amounted to 5 more continuances for a total of 13 unopposed continuances. I mean, Jake Haro remained out of custody while awaiting the violation of probation hearing, and it was at this time that baby Emmanuel was allegedly murdered. We bring these facts to the public's attention because serious and credible threats have been made against the judge for exercising his judicial discretion as allowed under the law. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? If you want, I can post this on Patreon if you guys want to be able to read the entire thing. So the ABOTA is saying, hey, not so, Mr. Hestrin. Look at all the mistakes you, through your prosecutor, made. You waited almost 3 years. You filed with the statute of limitations just barely before the statute of limitations. You did not file great bodily injury. That would have precluded the judge from being more lenient. Plus, you did not oppose any continuances for his violation of probation, blah, blah, blah. And had you done that, he wouldn't have been free. Okay? So, I feel like a drama peddler here, but we got more. This came out on the 11th. This was, I made this document. This image was posted to Instagram, and then, the verbiage here was the post on Instagram. So instead of screenshotting Instagram, I just put it into a doc so I could show you guys, okay? So it's a statement to the media and our community members regarding clarification and accountability in the prior case of Jake Haro. There's been a significant amount of misinformation. Well, you don't say, because that's exactly what ABOTA said. circulating regarding the handling of the prior criminal case against Jake Haro. As the district attorney's office, we have conducted a thorough internal review of how this case was managed, and we wish to clarify several critical points to ensure the public receives an accurate understanding of the facts. It is important to recognize that our office believed the charges could have been more severe based on the nature and extent of the victim's injuries. Had the case gone to a preliminary hearing, it is highly likely that we would have sought amendments to increase the charges. Okay. However, they do not need a preliminary hearing to increase charges. They're the ones that charge. They they get to change charges anytime they want. It's up to their discretion. At least that's my understanding. I mean, anytime, maybe not, but initial charges, yeah, they can bump the charges up. Come on. So had the case gone to preliminary hearing, we would have made amendments, blah, blah, blah. However, Mr. Haro pled guilty prior to that stage, and the final plea was presented to and accepted by the court. Prior to any plea to the court in the previous case, we strongly objected to the proposed sentence, a probationary term with 180 days and a work release program with the prison sentence suspended. We made this objection in open court and on the record. Our objection was made based on seriousness of the injuries Mr. Haro inflicted on his then 10-week-old daughter. When the court chose to deviate from the people's insistence that Mr. Haro deserved prison time for his actions, it was acutely aware of the heinous and permanent nature of this young victim's injuries. The availability of more serious charges does not change what the facts dictated the appropriate punishment would be. Okay, no one has denied that the court had the discretion to make the decision to grant Mr. Haro probation. We believe that granting Mr. Haro probation under these circumstances on these facts was an inappropriate use of that discretion, and that was the basis of our objection. Okay, notice that they did not address any of the, hey, violation of probation continuances. You guys, what the devil? And they are like, nothing the devil. We got nothing here. They finish off, our office's primary focus remains providing justice for baby Emmanuel. It is essential that we do not lose sight of who is truly responsible for the loss of life at issue in this case and focus on our time and energy on ensuring justice for baby Emmanuel, which is interesting, Mr. Hestron, that you want us all to just say, hey, ignore the man behind the green curtain here. Okay. When you, Mr. Hestron, are the one that pointed to the green curtain, you're like, had the judge done his job here, baby Emmanuel would be alive. And then ABOTA is like, so there are a couple of other things that we have issues with. And then they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Guys, we're losing sight of, we need to focus on who really is responsible for baby Emmanuel's death. It's certainly not us, right? So that is kind of the gamesmanship that is happening over here. And remember, this guy, who I'm sure is a good attorney, is probably a good guy. I don't know him. Seems like a good district attorney. However, just remember that he is a politician. He wins and loses his election mostly based on his record of how many convictions he gets. That is always what they campaign on. Look at me, I've got a 92.7% conviction rate, which is just goes to show that the electorate is stupid. Hang on a second, Gavin, this is an apolitical show, Gavin. We do not get into politics here. But yes, no, Gavin, we do not get into politics. But just remember that he is a politician. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go to the next little bit of. Actually, before we do, let's bring up baby Manuel again. That poor little tyke, and see what you guys are saying over here. All right. Holy cow. Autumn. Autumn has been a member for 17 months. Nice, Autumn. Uh, Mooney, member for 18 months. Very nice. One Man's Trash, member for 9 months. Very cool. Also for 9 months is Robin Bernardi. Uh, Tony for 6 months. Very, very cool. We got a great group of members. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Susan says, running that close to the statute of limitations always makes me nervous. Why did they wait that long? Especially if they believed that they had a dangerous person on the loose. Now, there are there are valid reasons why it would take that long. Maybe their investigation took that long. I mean, maybe. I mean, I've been working on an investigation on Penny Doe for 3 years. So, yeah, I mean, maybe. But I'm with you, Susan, that I feel like they had enough. Because when they took it to court, I mean, their complaint was basically what happened at the hospital. It wasn't anything more than that. So, yeah. Uh Snarky Pants, I'm just saying you need to bring back Baby Gavin every time you cover a subject that will make us cry. You know what's funny about Baby Gavin is one, it was a little bit of a trend, the whole babification of grown up, like more than middle aged hairy men. But people who I like and trust kind of some, sent me some advice, let's say, that when I'm talking about things like CA, and I'm talking about like very adult subjects, having a baby announce that we're talking about adult subjects might encourage children to watch what we're talking about. So I think, you know, um, you guys know Mr. Rogers is my hero. One of the reasons that we came to Western Pennsylvania is because it is the home of Fred Rogers. Um, I love the little story about Mr. Rogers where he received a letter from a little girl who was concerned that Mr. Rogers wasn't feeding his fish. Remember in the beginning he would put a little fish food in with the little goldfish, on his set. And and she was concerned that he was forgetting to feed his fish, this little girl. And so from then on, when he would go and feed the fish, he would go, "Here, fishies, let's have a little food." Boop, boop. He'd do like something like that so that there was an audible. Uh, I think I left out of the story that the little girl was blind, right? So she was just listening to Mr. Rogers. So there was an audible indication that he was feeding his goldfish so that this little girl would feel okay. So when I get some kind of feedback, I think about Mr. Rogers going, let's think about this. Let's take it seriously. Baby Gavin was done in all fun, but I do not want children to be watching what we're talking about here on this channel. So I think we're probably going to retire Baby Gavin. Now, maybe we need to get a new announcer. Maybe we need to get a new opening. Maybe I can work on that. I would love your suggestions. But thank you very much for your comment, little snarky pants. How about something pink for the lights tomorrow with Elizabeth on? Perhaps. Perhaps. Let's bring baby Emmanuel back up. One Man's Trash says, just because the judge can don't mean he should. If he saw the printout of the baby's injuries, why would he have to say great bodily harm? Yeah, and that's the argument that the DA's office kind of pushed back with, right? He saw everything. He knew what happened to that child. Jesse Robbins says, they are all a bit at fault, I feel. The prosecutors didn't allege grievous bodily harm. Then the judge offered a suspended sentence. Then the courts pushed his hearing dates back after violations. And I think that we can, add the prosecutors not objecting to pushing back those hearings. Tony asks, can the judge be in trouble for failing so badly? I think the judge was within guidelines. I think he was within sentencing guidelines. He didn't stray from those. So I think not. But what do I know? Again, just a middle-aged guy sitting in his office in Western Pennsylvania. What do I know? In the meantime, says Susan, instead of everyone pointing fingers, maybe we can find the child's body. And I do believe, like, as much as I took umbrage with the sheriff and the DA pointing fingers at us, I do have confidence that they are working hard to try to find baby Emmanuel's body. There have been some, I don't know if I'd want to call them rumors. I saw it on Hidden True Crime that videos of Jake and Rebecca Haro discarding things in different trash cans all over the place gives an indication of where those things might be in the landfill, that they're already covered up. So they might know about the area where his body would be. I I don't know if they, I wonder if they are busy looking for the body or if they're just gonna, I feel like they will. Like they're going to be looking for baby Emmanuel. Yeah. Autumn, thank you on your 17-month anniversary for gifting memberships. You are the boss. And Tina, thank you very much for being a member for 3 months. Pretty awesome. You got gifted today. Robin says, but the Irish Spring commercial is necessary after some of these cases. Do we need to watch Irish Spring? Do we need to watch Irish Spring? Okay. My delicious skin, and this video is brought to you by Irish Spring. I get asked all the time about my skincare routine. People want to know, Gavin, what's your secret? How do you keep your skin looking so good? Well, I'll tell you, it's Irish Spring. Every time I shower, I use it on my face. No serums, no 10-step regimens, just Irish Spring. And it works. My skin stays clean, refreshed, and balanced. A lot of skincare products promise hydration, deep cleansing, even anti-aging benefits. Irish Spring, it just does the job. It keeps my skin looking and feeling incredible without the hassle. So if you're overcomplicating your skincare, maybe it's time to simplify. Trust me, Irish Spring, it's all you need. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Thanks for that comment, Robin. Uncle Gavin does need to make an appearance a little more often. I do love, Robin, the outtake of Mr. Rogers where he's trying to set up the tent. I absolutely love that. Dashell says, I completely put on my headphones put my headphones in when my son is around. He's 5 and precious. Good. I'm so glad. That makes me happy. The first problem was that the DA did not charge Jake properly, says JoJo. Yeah. Okay. JoJo's wondering how much I'm getting for the Irish Spring ad. No, listen, Irish Spring is such an important part of my life that I do it for free. I'm happy to. Okay, let's head on back on over here. This is an article from the 5th of September where we find out that Jake Haro was praised for his parenting skills, everybody. This is News Nation. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. It was revealed Friday that Jake Haro was ordered to attend a hiccup there, a CA program as part of a suspended sentence for a separate CA case in 2018, which left his then 10-week-old daughter permanently disabled. According to the New York Post, 2 counselors overseeing Jake Haro praised his behavior in a report. Counselor Stephen DeHay noted on July 18th that Jake Haro was attentive, polite, and appropriately interactive in class with other members and facilitators. He appears to have gained insight and awareness into his parenting style, the report continued. He appears to have benefited from this mandated class/program. Also, DeHay gave Jake a perfect score, 7 out of 7, for attitude and in the category CA. He also received high scores in other categories, including child welfare and parenting skills. Myrna Johnson, another counselor, said in a 2023 report that Jake Haro reported that his discipline consists of logical and natural consequences. Well, of course he reported that. Oh my goodness. Of course he reported that. And he offers limited choices to teach decision making and democracy. Well, isn't that touchy feely and just make us just have all the feels? So dumb. Mr. Haro shared that his children are motivated by positive reinforcement and that his limits are stable and only increase with the maturity of his children, she wrote. Johnson declared Jake's likelihood of CAing, another one, to be low per the report, which makes me want to shake somebody. Okay. Let me check my notes here. A couple other things. We went over the judge controversy. We went over, yeah, all that. The attorneys involved previously represented the Turpins. Got that. Oh, Jake's lawyer requested confidential contact visits in custody. He was transferred to Southwest Detention Center, a higher security facility, probably because of who he is accused of murdering. But he requested and was given confidential contact visits, but I don't know who those contacts will be. These are unrecorded, unmonitored, almost like lawyer style visits. But I don't know who it is who will be coming in. So that is something. We've gone over the clash between DA and Mr. Hestron and the ABOTA folks. We've gone over the counselors' reports. Oh, this came out. Criminal defense attorney Alexandria Kazarian went on Ashley Banfield and said that Jake grew up in a home filled with DV, addiction, and instability. He was removed, according to Kazarian, from his parents at age 13. He was placed in an adoptive family. Apparently, he was placed with his grandparents for a time. His grandfather, again, not much better. So there is this cycle of abuse that probably has been perpetuated at least across 3 generations. Good Day LA reporter Gigi Graciette said the landfill in Lambs Canyon in Beaumont is rumored to be a search site. The sheriff's department confirmed no search yet, but didn't rule it out. Investigators have gathered surveillance video from multiple businesses, according to Ms. Graciette from Good Day LA. There are some YouTubers that have been using drones to scan search areas. Of course, police have been asking the public not to search on their own due to risking the crime, contaminating or compromising the crime scene. So, upcoming dates, guys. October 16th will be the next settlement conference. October 28th is the preliminary hearing, and hopefully they don't get continued and continued and continued and continued, because we've seen it happen before with this guy, right? Let's get some closing comments from all y'all. Mooney, holy cow, you guys are feeling good right now. Mooney sent out some gift memberships. I'm glad that a few more are getting those memberships. Thank you, Mooney. Thank you for supporting me. Tony said she forgot what I looked like with short hair. My wife told me yesterday that she thinks that once my hair gets long enough, I'll probably decide to keep it. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think short hair is very easy to take care of, and I like the way I look with short hair, but I will continue to grow this out until I can donate it, which probably will be another 6 or 7 months. Susan says, manly, yes, but I like it too. Uh, let's see. Susan says, aw shucks, I always thought that children were motivated by punishment. Guess I wouldn't have had high scores in a CA class. Yeah. Our children, which I think is true. That's what my wife studied early childhood development, early childhood education. And yeah, our our I guess method with disciplining our children was to hurt their feelings, to make them feel bad for what it was that they had done wrong. And then, once they felt that, to increase, show an overabundance of love about how great it was that they learned their lesson and mommy and daddy really love you. And we continue to do that with our children. Our oldest child is 24. We still follow that. Now, a couple of our kids were a little harder to hurt their feelings, to get them to feel those feelings, right? But that's what it is that we did, and that's how they responded well. I'm not saying that we're the best parents in the world, but that's what we did. Didn't they have the hearing yesterday, Gavin? I heard something about talks of the plea deal. Please say there's not a plea deal in the works. There was a hearing scheduled for the 16th and the 17th, but when the 16th hearing happened and they continued to October 16th and 28th, the 17th hearing did not happen. So it was just pushed. Tony says, I don't care. I came from an abusive home and I decided to be the opposite. There is no excuse for what he did. I hate when they use offenders' upbringing. So I hear what you're saying, and good on you, Tony. That's rad. I'm glad that you have overcome. I think I think this kind of thing is important though, to understand reasons why, not excuses for. And that might sound like a distinction without a difference, but to me there's a wide difference. If we understand that CA can be generational, then we might be able to prescribe a solution to that. But it's not to, I guess, it's not to, I guess, shift blame. The blame lies squarely on his shoulders for sure. Thank you for that comment. Just Ducky says, "Do you think Mom will stick with the kidnapping story till the end?" No, I think eventually she's going to see the writing on the wall. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. It is always great to be with you. Hey, I'm going to say viewership has been down recently, and I think it's because of my decision to cover the Charlie Kirk case. I still stand by it though, because it was a national case of great importance and it is an active murder case. And so we are going to be continuing to cover that story. We will not forget all the other stories that are so important, like Baby Emmanuel, like the Kevin Mullins case, like so many other cases that we're covering. Rebecca Baptiste. We will continue to cover those things, but don't be surprised if we do Charlie Kirk when more things happen in court. I will stay as clear away from the politics as I possibly can. I just because we're an apolitical show, and that part for us is and I say this with all due respect, but for us it's a tangent, it's a sideshow. For us, we've got a murder case. What is it that we can learn from it? What is it that happened? And maybe, well, we will be doing that. Snarky Pants said, hey, maybe you're losing viewers because you lost baby Gavin. Maybe I need to rethink that. But I think in the future here, we're going to see a lot more collaboration with other channels. We've been collaborating really well with Hillbilly Crime. I think I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to a lot of channels that I know, and hopefully get more and more collaboration here on the channel. And that's what we're going to do. Hey, don't forget, you can head on over to gavinfish.com. Gavinfish.com is a great place to go if you want to reach out to me. Let me push the right little botones here. If you want to ever reach out to me, click on this little button that will take you to a form that you can fill out to send me a little messagey poo. Also, check out Crime Cod. Check out Crime Cod. That's our true crime website where we publish several stories every day about what is happening in true crime. And then the last thing I want to bring to your attention, guys, because I've seen a couple orders come in recently. You just saw the Cluvelta commercial, okay? You can go to the Cluvelta collection right now. You could do this right now. You could get yourself a Cluvelta tea. You could get a mug. What you can't get is Cluvelta because it's not real. but you can get a tea and you can get a mug. There's lots of fun stuff over on the swag shop. I invite you to check it out. That's a great way to support me. And no matter how you support me, whether it is by buying merch or liking and subscribing or, oh my goodness, being a member or being a patron, I deeply, deeply appreciate all of the support. You guys are awesome, and I love you. Thanks so much. With that, I bid you adieu. We will see you on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.